So, Lost Ark. We talked about this a bit yesterday in chat, but this is a video. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have probably already seen this video, especially if you're even remotely interested in Lost Ark in the slightest. But to put some context here, I'm really against censorship in general. I think that if your game is so this goes back to like even FGO stuff with Emiya Alter. The fact that westernizing games, they have to, first off, the West ruins everything. I wish more companies would refuse to westernize games because the West ruins things. They take things that don't need to be changed and they go, but what if some blue check mark on Twitter decides that they are upset because you can see Ravi's side, and Ravi is an underage girl. She's a homunculus, first off. But first off, Twitter's not a real place. Anybody who thinks that Twitter's opinion is valid, their opinion is also not valid. The only people who care about Twitter are people on Twitter. And I wish that game companies would just stop being like, oh, but 3 people on Twitter are mad that our game has giant anime titties all over the place, and so we have to change that, and we have to tone it down, because what would we do without those 3 people and their 7 followers that are mad about this? Nothing. Those people literally they're not going to play your game in the first place, so who cares about their opinion? Put your game out. And if the market wants your game, they will buy your game. Stop turning pictures into fruit. Do you hate women? Just why? It's completely unnecessary. But yeah, showing off male chest, perfectly okay. Giant bulges, perfectly acceptable. But let's watch this video.
Hey guys. Today we're going to be talking about the in no way controversial topic of censorship and westernization of Lost Ark. Censorship in quotes.
I like this guy's voice,
really
by the way.
How much of the game is being censored, or if there's really any censorship going on. I'll talk about what we do know in a second. And westernization in quotes, because I don't know if that's a real word or not.
It is.
I'm already anticipating
it is a westernization.
Things like, imagine caring about this at all. That's not really an argument. It's basically you just saying, I don't personally care about this subject, which is totally understandable. Hopefully by the end of this video.
Which, again, this goes back to what I said earlier. If it's a non-factor, if you're going to be like, oh, imagine caring about this. Imagine the devs having to take time out of their cycle to fix this. Like, why? Why? It doesn't matter. If this doesn't matter so much that changing it doesn't matter, then why change it in the first place? Seriously. Like, why waste time delaying your game because you need to make sure that people can't see the anime girl's big boobies? That's really... It's non-factor. Like, if you want to dress up a certain way with your character, then dress up a certain way. But dude, come on, man. Even girls like to see big anime boobies, dude. Like, have you met girls? Most people haven't. Let's be real. Most people on the internet have never actually talked to a girl, devs included. So they're probably like, oh no, every girl is like that. The 3 Twitter blue check marks that are like, I'm being sexualized. But if you ever interact with the Final Fantasy 14 community, they're like, please Please sexualize me, daddy. I sexualize myself even more than any dude could ever sexualize me, but that's also Final Fantasy 14, and most people who play Final Fantasy 14 are a bunch of degenerates. Anyways, on to the rest of the video.
I'll have explained this subject in a way that you can at least understand why people care about this so much. As for what censorship is in the game, we don't actually have a lot of details about that, and what we do know is pretty conflicting. For one, the starting outfits that you can preview during character customization have been...
Okay, now, one thing that I will point out is that I have always been a big proponent of sometimes more is better. Sometimes I like my sexy anime girls to have more clothes on because it leaves more to the imagination. I think that the one on the bottom left is actually looks pretty sweet. I think that the top right looks way better because the one on the bottom looks like some sort of ninja assassin with dumb World of Warcraft hunter shoulders. But why? Why do this? Why does it matter? Why do you have to cover them up? Like, you know,
been replaced with far more modest clothing, and some of the starting outfits that you begin the game wearing have been changed as well.
Everybody knows when you start playing any sort of game, you got the bare minimum clothes, and then you get more clothes, and then as you get to end game, get less clothes. Just the way it is. I don't make the rules. The less clothes you have, the better the armor is.
The martial artist seems to have just given up on Kung Fu and is doing her best assassin cosplay now.
Yeah, see, like, if I'm playing a martial artist, the one on the left-hand side is what I expect to see a martial artist look like. The one on the right-hand side is a rope. That's a you know, some sort of assassin. You know, if you look at the shoes, oh, you guys can't see the shoes. Hold on. If we pull up here, if you look at these shoes on the martial artist, those are wedges. Those aren't high heels. You can still, I mean, I've never worn wedges. I have worn high heels before. You know, I was drunk at a party. Regardless, wedges are more stable than high heels are, and if you're a martial artist, wedges make more sense than high heels. High heels are for rogues. I don't make the rules. That's just how it is. Yeah.
Now, are those legs in my M-rated video game? The community manager, Rox, who is a super nice person, by the way, she seems really passionate about the game, has gone on record to say that those missing preview outfits from the character creation screen are still in the game as white armor drops, but to my knowledge, nobody's been able to verify this so far. At least from what I understand, no one was able to find any of those outfits during the beta, so I guess we'll have to see what the deal is there when the full game releases.
But here's the thing, if those are your starting items, why make them a drop? You know what actually I think I liked about Final Fantasy, right? Is like you can just go buy the starter clothes. Like you could just go buy them for any of the races. Like it's pretty sweet actually. Because if you miss out on them or you forgot and like you were a newbie and you're like, oh, I'll sell these off. Then later you're like, man, I want to look like a newbie again. Then you just go buy them.
Kind of related, the outfits that you get for purchasing the Founders Pack were shown off pretty recently, and in it you can see that the Summoner is wearing some kind of weird metal chastity belt type deal.
Yeah, that looks stupid. Also, her top looks like she's some sort of latex fetish model. Let's be real. The way that the gleam kind of hits that looks like a latex top, you know, and if they're, yeah.
To cover up those evil thighs of hers. This is actually her reveal outfit, which you can see in the trailer here. She doesn't have that weird metal belt on.
Yeah, that outfit looks way better.
Isn't going to be censored in the actual game and is just being censored in the marketing material, which is nice, but kind of brings up another problem of what you're seeing versus what you're getting with your $100.
Yeah, and that is something that's kind of annoying as well. Like, if I'm shown something and I'm like, I want to pay $100 for this. And then I get the game and I'm like, wait, this isn't what I signed up for. Like, this isn't what I purchased. Like, where is what I wanted?
Dollar purchase, but whatever. In some brighter news for the anti-censorship folks, there were, I believe, 2 NPCs in the game that you can get level 5 affinity with, which rewards you with a short little cutscene where you kind of get to go on a date with them, and then you get some implied sexy times. There's nothing graphic in these cutscenes, like it doesn't actually show anything, but these affinity tiers were...
Let's be real, they would make way more money if there was shown sexy time. Let's be real. Do you know how much more money Fate Grand Order would make if when you got to Bond 10, you did get either an implied or an actual sexy time scene? Yeah, just money. Like, they need to understand, like, their demographic. A lot of us are just degenerates who roll for booba, and that's just how they would make money. Like, it just seems dumb that they're like, oh, these Puritans over on Twitter that are mad because an anime character looks better than them, we need to censor it so that their feelings aren't hurt. Doesn't make sense.
Missing from the Western version of the game, and a lot of people assumed censorship. Rox clarified that these were intended to be in the game at launch, but were missing due to a known issue. This page is blank. Oh. I think the people that are against this supposed censorship belong in one of 2 camps. The first camp, which I'm a part of, is just anti-censorship in all regards.
Yeah.
Censorship sucks, and that's really it. I don't want any creator to feel the need to remove or modify any piece of their work just so it can appeal to a wider audience. All that really does is just lead to more samey, safe garbage.
Right.
I, as an adult, should have the freedom
I completely agree with that.
Content I want to. Remember, Lost Ark is an M-rated video game.
If you don't like it, don't buy it. Not everything is for everybody. I know it's rough, but sometimes the game's not for you. That would be like me complaining about Disney Twisted Wonderland because there ain't no chicks in it. That game's not for me. It would be stupid of me to be like, bro, I'm big mad at your game because there's no waifus in this. This game's not for me. Sometimes things just aren't for you, and you need to understand, and the people need to understand that.
I really like the gore in Lost Ark. I think it adds a lot to the visual flair of the game, and it makes all the combat feel a lot more visceral. If that was removed in its entirety, I feel like a lot of people who don't really care about the loot stuff being censored might be up in arms then. Another hypothetical would be the PvP mode. I like the PvP in Lost Ark a lot, but I don't really have any plans to play the ranked mode. I'm just not that kind of guy. But if I heard that some stupid change was coming to the ranked PvP mode, I would gladly stand with the rest of the community in trying to get that fixed. I don't want any features stripped down or removed from the game just because it might be something that I personally don't care about. None of this would be a big deal if they just added a toggle for the lewd outfits or the gore or whatever, but...
Bro, that is exactly... When I was talking about Emiya Alter back in the day, right? Some of the stuff, like, and there was some other stuff, you know, with FGO. I'm like, just put in a toggle, dude. Just put in a toggle. If you want original Emiya Alter, you can have it. If you want whitewashed, you know, tan-skinned drug lord Emiya Alter, you can have that too. And you know what? If you complain about it still being in the game, that's your fault for not toggling that off. No one person should have to, you should not cater your game to one person at the detriment of the vast majority of people who are not going to, you know, run a Twitter campaign against a whole bunch of other stuff. When I was a kid, religious people wanted to censor video games. Now Twitter and leftists. Yes. Yeah, it's come full circle, man. And they'll still be like, these religious moms, they hate D&D. Like, bro, you hate D&D because You can't be a poly, trans, non-binary, genderqueer dragonkin. It's first off, it's D&D. You can be whatever you want, bro. Nobody's going to tell you you can't, except maybe your DM, because you're trying to do all that stuff to min max so that you can bang everything in the game. But like, yeah, no, it just doesn't make sense to completely shift your entire game and your game's focus just for a couple of crybabies on Twitter. It really isn't. Like, the sooner that games realize that those people who are big mad are not the people who are driving your sales, the better game industry is going to be. Because, like, yeah, it just doesn't make sense to just stab your game in the foot because because you want to try to not get the negative press, and you're going to get it anyways. Like with the Emiya Alter stuff, you got it anyways because they were like, see, Japan, we had to change this to protect you. We had to change this because you didn't actually read the lore to understand why his skin was ashen. But if you brought up why his skin was ashen, you were just called racist because that's what you wanted. You just wanted Emiya Alter to be gray skinned because you were actually racist. Not because, well, his skin was like that because he overran his mana circuits and literally burnt his skin, and he was a play on the broken vase re-put in with gold. Yeah, that doesn't matter. It was literally just because you're racist. It's just what it was.
But that never happens. Censorship is telling a man that he can't have a steak just because a baby can't chew it. That's Mark Twain.
Right there.
He and I are good friends.
Me too.
He hasn't texted me back, though, in like at least 100 years. Now, the second camp of anti-censorship folk are people that are just a little more honest about their primal urges. And guess what? I'm also a part of that camp, so
yeah.
Bet you didn't see that.
Coomers.
You're telling me I'm not supposed to have my mind getting, like, electrocuted when I see the garter belt action that Gunslinger's got going on?
Yo, that outfit's
I'm
hot.
so stoic of a man that this has no effect on me. Yeah, right. As for the westernization part, this is a little more cut and dry. A lot of the
Bro, you know who spends the most money on everything? Coomers, dude. Coomers. How much money do VTubers get? How much money do gacha games get? You know why? Half-naked girls. You know who also spends money on that? Girls who like half-naked girls. You know who doesn't spend money? Puritans who don't play your game in the first place.
The NPCs have had their skin color changed in what is the lamest attempt at diversification that I've seen in a while. These look pretty terrible.
These do look real bad.
Development time was wasted on something this trivial. The card art for these have been changed as well, and it looks like someone just colored over them in Microsoft Paint or something. There's like some cartoony effect going on.
Like, here's the other thing too, is like, why? Why bother? The Russian version and the Korean version are the same, right? The North American and the EU version are literally the only ones where they are changing the skin tone to be more diversified.
With some of them because they did such
like
a
I said,
job of like painting
the
over
West
their skin.
ruins
There's
everything.
a way worse offender than these though, and those of you with weak constitutions may want to look away. Here's a quick before and after picture of my queen.
Like, okay. First off, this just looks really, really horrible. What is with the cartooniness of her neck and her chest, like, lighting? I don't understand. And this is such a huge difference between the two. Like, why? Why bother? Why is this needed? Like, this isn't the source material. Like, this isn't, who asked for this? Who was like, bro, you know what? I know that we've got a vaguely Korean looking queen here, who is white skinned. We need to make her black because we're taking this to America. Amazon Games, that's who. What?
And before you say anything, if you think these changes are stupid or if you think they look pretty bad, well, bad news. You're a racist.
That's
I
true.
don't really understand the point in these changes. There are already a variety of skin colors present in Lost Ark to begin with. And apparently Smilegate has gone on record to say that they're wanting to put an African region in the game. It's also weird that the West is like the only place that needs these kind of changes to feel more at home. I've been playing on the Russian version of Lost Ark for God knows how long, and I haven't seen an AK-47 one time. I've always felt like you should go in.
I am a big fan of the of that AK-47 joke. I don't know that I could ever play on a server with Russians because they're angry. They're angry quite a bit, and they would also yell at me quite a bit, and I would not know what they were saying. But again, why is it that the Western version has to have this? Like, who at Amazon Games, when they were localizing this, is like, yeah, we need to just change everything, but nobody will notice. No one's gonna notice this. Like, when they go look at a YouTube video and they're like, oh, hey, wait, hold on, this doesn't make any sense at all, because that doesn't look like this thing that I'm doing. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, did they think that nobody was going to call this out? Like, again, too, I'm sure that, you know, if you do call this out, the go-to is, well, you just don't like the queen being black because, well, you're racist. No, if there was a good reason for it, I would go, oh, okay, well, I guess that makes sense. But if you're going to just change the source material arbitrarily because you need to feel like you need to pander to a specific demographic that doesn't exist, not saying that black people don't exist, they do, they definitely do, but like, the people who would care about that don't actually exist. Like, those people who would be like, oh man, I'm just so mad. Like, I don't care about NPCs, dude. Like, I've never been like, man, sure do wish there were more white people in this game, NPC wise, so I would feel like I would fit in. No, I make my character look like me. Like, if you can you always make your character look like you, right? Or you make your character look like the girl that you want to bang out. That's really just what it is. But like, this doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
To these things with certain expectations. Like, I knew that Lost Ark was a Korean MMO, so I knew that there were going to be some edgy pretty boys in the game that I was supposed to be like super terrified of. I don't know why the West should expect a Korean MMO to be representative of the diversity and skin colors that you see in the West. You know, the second I booted up Yakuza 0, the only thing that was going through my mind
This part's good.
Where are all the white people? Where are the white people?
Another issue is they've replaced a lot of the faces available in the character creation with more Western options instead of just adding those as more options, which understandably has a lot of people upset since you're not going to be able to make some of those faces in the Western version of the game with the tools that we have. You can slightly modify each of these bases, but it's not like Black Desert Online tier where you can change everything, so you can't really make a lot of those missing presets. Those missing faces could just be a bug or something that was missing in the beta, but after a while of waiting, Seawolf, another community manager, has been unable to find out for sure, so we don't really know for now. So I believe that's everything we know so far. Thank you for sticking around if you made it this far, and I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts about this kind of stuff. I read every comment and I cry very easily, so please be careful. Love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.
This guy is pretty cool. I like this guy. Seems like a dude that I would like just hang out with and talk games with. But like, here's the thing, like I said, if you are playing an MMO, if you're playing a game where you can make your character, you have the character slider, you have the you have all of the character options. You make your character look like you or the girl that you want to sleep with. That's just how it is. Like I've never been in a game and been like, yo, these dudes over here, are purple. I don't feel comfortable right now. I don't feel like I fit in here. You know what? My character is out in space talking to dragons. These dragons aren't representative of me. No, because my character is representative of me. Like, if you want to make yourself like a 6'5", just brick house black dude, and that is what you are in real life, first off, dude, you probably look fucking sweet and you're probably super jacked, and I'll probably be like, bro, like, how much do you bench? But you can do that in most of the games, and I just like, oh man, this doesn't like, these changes make no sense whatsoever. It really doesn't. It's no need for it. Once games stop, like, here's the problem too, is the the loudest voices are the smallest minority of people. And now there are so many people that are so fucking bored. They're just so bored that they have to find things to be mad about. And then game companies who are like, they hire some new social media manager who's like, bruh, do you have any idea how many people on Twitter are mad at us? And they're like, no. Do they matter? And they're like, just trust me. They are big mad. And our game is just going to be canceled because of people on Twitter who actually have zero power over anything. I mean, look at Dave Chappelle. They couldn't cancel Dave Chappelle, whether you agree with him or not. Most companies that got canceled, if they just said, yeah, I don't care. Yeah, whatever. Just go F yourself. I mean, those actually got canceled. Except for the people, it's when people come back and they're like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry. We'll change this. We're gonna take those boobies out of the Warcraft picture frame, and we're gonna put fruit in there because we know that this is very, very important. This is really super, super important. And I know that every time you walk past this picture frame, one random blue check mark Twitter woman, it reminds you of that one time that you were out in public and a guy said you looked good, and that hurt your feelings because how dare he tell you that you looked good? So we will change this for you. Now, again, you could go back to, well, why does it matter? Does it matter to you? Well, no, it doesn't. But why does it matter why does it need to be changed? If somebody can come up with like a good reason as to why that, that queen needed to be changed in just the North American version, I'll hear it all day. Like a good reason, not just, well, just because that's not a good reason. It's not a good reason at all. So that's my stance on it. Am I going to still play the game? Yeah, I'm going to still play the game. I mean, as a visible minority, I don't generally expect or care if they include characters in the game to represent me, but when they do, it's cool. Yeah, I understand that. I ain't canceling companies because of that shit either. You know what? And honestly, of my friends who are also visible minorities, I know Shogun pulled out the my black friend. They don't care either. As a matter of fact, most people don't care. What's the change here? Hold on, let me go back and find it real quick for this. Here's the before and the after that we're talking about right here. All right, Yusuf, hey, take care, dude. But like here's the thing is most people don't care. Most people, they're going to see this Korean looking queen and be like, "Oh, well, yeah, this is a Korean MMO." What exactly? I would not expect, a Korean MMO to be representative of me. If it was, I would be like, oh, well, first off, she needs to look like she ate like 17 Big Macs and, go around on a mobility scooter because I'm American, dude. Like, what is going on here? Not only that, but she needs to have 3 or 4 kids, like, just running around the throne room. And she needs to also put on her Tinder profile, if you can't handle me at my best or my worst, then you don't deserve me at my best. That's the representation that I need of the one here, on the right hand side, because I need it to fit my demographic of American. No, I literally don't change my source material, bro. The person who designed this game, who designed the story, who designed the art, they did it for a specific reason. Just leave the source material. If you don't like the source material, then don't play the game. It's really not that hard. You know how many games are out there? Like, just go play another one. The after looks like a low quality Skyrim mod that somebody did with MS Paint. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I need my mobility scooters and my McDonald's, dude. Why is she even wearing that, dude? She needs to be wearing a hoodie and like, hitting the vape real hard. Most people who do care are crusading for me, and it's like, but we didn't really ask for this. Yeah, I completely agree. The oiled queen, well, she does look pretty shiny. Yeah, like it's might just be the light that they took the screenshot in, but it just looks bad. It just looks bad. What happened? Oh, this is some Lost Ark censorship stuff. But like, yeah, it's just it's unneeded. And we've seen this coming for a while on the westernization and the localization of the game, of games in general. Games are there for escapism, dude. Like, I don't play video games because I care about politics. If I want politics, I want the politics of the game. Like, I don't care if it's like, oh, I don't want them to put in, Donald Trump and Joe Biden as, the 2 dueling kings or whatever. I don't want that. I go to play video games because I want to get away from everything that is on everything. I want to get away from reality. So like when they've like force all this stuff in and just change everything, man, like just bro, I'm here to play a game. Stop messing with it. That's just my thing. I hate injected politics for no good reason.